Fuck you!
Where's the other one? The one with the yellow cloak. Those are your last words. Fuck you. Come on, you can do better.
Cunt!
You're shit at dying, you know that.
The Mad Hound lost his mind. It was the first time he sought revenge not for himself, but for someone else. Ever since he had miraculously survived and been rescued by an old man, the Hound had been recovering in this peaceful, secluded place. There was no war here, no fighting, just a quiet village far removed from the chaos of the world. Tired of bloodshed, he gradually grew fond of the calm and simplicity of life in this remote corner. Though life was hard and the villagers had little, under the old man's guidance, they held on to hope for a better future. Had nothing changed, the Hound would have been content to spend the rest of his days in that tranquil place. But everything changed the day a group of mercenaries passed through.
Do you have any horses?
No horses, no gold, no steel.
Food then. Protecting the people is hungry work.
I'm sure it is. You're welcome to stay for supper, but we have hungry mouths here.
They quickly discovered the villagers were poor, so poor, in fact, that even after looting everything in sight, there was nothing of value to take. When the mercenaries demanded more, the old man stood his ground. He didn't flinch, because there was nothing left to give. The Hound, however, knew the truth. These weren't just mercenaries, they were thugs, and they wouldn't leave quietly. He urged the old man to take the villagers and flee, but the old man refused. This was their home, and they wouldn't abandon it. I didn't expect it. The other party's retaliation came so quickly. By the time the Hound returned to camp after finishing his daily work, the village was silent, eerily silent. Bodies lay everywhere. No one had been spared. The old man who had once saved his life now hung lifeless, strung up by the very men he had defied. Rage overtook the Hound. Blinded by fury, he picked up his axe and went hunting. He found the mercenaries laughing, boasting about the massacre as if it were sport. They never saw it coming. Without a word, without a chance to react, the Hound cut them down, one after another. They died in fear and pain, just as they deserved. But as the blood settled, he realized none of those he'd killed were the original attackers. The true culprits were still out there, the three who had started it all. So he set off in pursuit, tracking them down with relentless focus. Eventually, he found them, but not in the way he expected. They were tied up, captured by another group of mercenaries. It turned out that the massacre of civilians had violated the code of the Mercenaries Guild. The three were now sentenced to death. The Hound demanded to carry out the execution himself, but the commander of the guild refused. A tense standoff followed as both sides argued over who had the right to kill them. They knew the Hound's reputation. They didn't want to provoke him. In the end, a compromise was made. He could execute two of them, but it had to be by hanging. The Hound accepted. It was the best outcome he could hope for. With his own hands, he hanged the two men who had destroyed the only peace he'd ever known. In doing so, he finally avenged the old man who had once saved his life.